Hello, I'm Paul Bell, and this is That Review Show. Today we'll be doing a double review of the two Creed trailers that are up on YouTube. Let's start off by talking about the original trailer. The original Creed trailer seems to be centered more around Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Johnson, the son of Apollo Creed, who anybody has seen the Rocky series knows died in Rocky 4 in a fight in the ring with Ivan Dragoff. It's fairly interesting. They have it set back in Philadelphia, of course. There's actually a scene in the trailer where you see Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Johnson walking into Mick's gym. Of course, if you've seen the Rocky series, you know who Mick is, you know, the man who trained Rocky. Sylvester Stallone was making sure that people understood that this was not another Rocky movie. This is a series all on its own, just in the Rocky universe. Overall, just an amazing trailer. The fact that, Michael B. Jordan, his mannerisms, his body language seems to mimic that of, Apollo Creed, which is awesome. You like to see that. In the original trailer, it gives you more of an inkling that he's coming to find Rocky Balboa to train him so that he can take up his father's legacy. He states in the trailer that he never knew his father, which leads me to believe that maybe, he may have been a illegitimate child, or possibly Apollo Creed's wife was pregnant before he passed. He basically says fighting is just, what he does, man. It's who he is. And with his father being Apollo Creed, kind of makes sense. The trailer was exciting. It was engaging. Made you wanting more. You want to see the movie. Of course, like I said, there was a second trailer, but we'll get to that. It gives you an overall tone for the movie. It tells you basically your underdog story, a fighter out of nowhere, coming in, trying to get the title that his father held, which seems to be a good story. It seems to be a legacy story, which I kind of like. You always kind of build up who you think a character's kids might be, who they might turn into. But overall, just a really good trailer. Like I said, engaging, enthralling. Let you know there was a love interest in there for Michael B. Jordan, which is good. It's always good to see that. Your typical boxing movie tends to have that one person, I like the fact that it shows Sylvester Stallone talking with him. It actually brings the character Adonis Johnson into Rocky's restaurant that he owns in Philadelphia, which is, I believe, up there it's actually Victor's Cafe, but I think it's Adriano's. But anyway, walks in. There was the, mixed gym, as we mentioned before, but as he walks into the restaurant, in the trailer, you have him looking over the bar to a picture of the 10th round between Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. That is actually how he introduced himself to Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone, as Apollo Creed's son, which, like I said, it doesn't really explain. It kind of gives you that inkling to see the movie in order to find out. It leaves questions, which I believe is very important in a trailer. The trailer didn't spoil a whole lot of the movie, which is great. You don't like to know 100% of what it is before you go into the movie. You want to be surprised. Overall, just a really great trailer. I'd highly recommend seeing it. If you're a Rocky fan, I get the feeling this is going to be one hell of a movie. Even if you're just a fan of boxing movies, I'm telling you, this seems like it's going to be a good movie. And the trailer seems to really give you an understanding of Michael B. Jordan, of course, playing Adonis Johnson's. You get Adonis Johnson's mindset for the movie. It really sets a fairly good tone. Not much more I can say about that trailer. It was like I said, really good trailer. I'd highly suggest seeing it. We'll move on to the second trailer, which another good trailer. It seemed to focus more on the relationship between Rocky Balboa as the trainer of Adonis Johnson It explains why Adonis Johnson doesn't want to use the Creed name. He's worried about, trying, failing, and being called a false hero, using his father's name, who was a big deal in the Rocky, we'll call it the Rocky universe. Um, it shows you a little more of that love interest that I mentioned earlier. Him and this woman girlfriend. Now it has me leaning to believe that he might be an illegitimate child of Apollo Creed, simply for the fact that uh, Adonis Johnson mentions that he's been in and out of foster care, juvenile hall. But I really like that it basically shows you that him and Rocky might have something in common. As we, from the previous Rocky series know, Rocky wasn't all that smart. He was an enforcer and actually earned money that way and did boxing on the side until he made a career out of it. And you kind of get that feeling that might be something they bond over. There's actually a scene in the trailer where Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone, goes and gets Adonis Johnson out of jail, which he gets put in solitary at a away from General Pop by getting into fights with the other inmates. But mind you, jail, not prison. Okay, but yeah, it seems like it's going to be a good movie. The second trailer, however, did let on that Rocky Balboa's got some health problems. He's got possibly some sort of kidney problem. In the trailer, you see maybe some dialysis. But the bond between Adonis Johnson and Balboa is there. You see Adonis Johnson sitting next to him, in the hospital, which kind of brings back when, Rocky sat with Mick in the hospital. Of course, you got the basic. Rocky's getting older. The world around him's changing. Of course, he's losing the ones he loves. They're passing away. He's worried he's going to be fighting this fight alone, but Adonis Johnson lets him know that he's there for him, that they're fighting together. Not just through the training, but also through, Rocky's health problems, which is a good thing. Like I said, it gives you that bonding moment. I get the feeling it's going to be a really good movie, not just your action, throwing fists and all that, but I think between the training sequences, the fact that they seem to be growing this bond between the two of them, both of them underdog fighters trying to reach for a championship, which is, basically the whole plot of the Rocky franchise. But I want to state that Sylvester Stallone made it clear that this was not another Rocky movie. This is an animal all its own. This is the new, Creed. It takes place in what I'll call the Rocky universe. It takes place in that timeline, but it does not count as a Rocky movie. Rocky is not the fighter in this. Adonis Johnson is. But overall, just a really good trailer. Like I said, it gives you more of a kind of a dramatic feel than the original first trailer. The first trailer was more of a, underdog fighting his way up kind of thing. The second trailer kind of lets you know there's more to it than that. I mean, just the fact that Adonis Johnson and Balboa, with Balboa training him, of course, it really lets you know there's more to it than just two guys beating the hell out of each other in a ring, which is really good. It in the trailers they do share, a couple old nostalgic moments, I'll say, from the original Rocky franchise. One being the training sequence in the original trailer. He's got the gray hoodie, the gray sweats. He's running down the streets of Philadelphia. I think one of the most iconic scenes in American cinema is, the original Rocky Balboa running down the streets of Philadelphia, running up the stairs, doing that shadow boxing. That's one of the most. It's a scene that sticks with you, and I like that they hint at that with Creed. Adonis Johnson's running down the streets of Philadelphia. Slight change in it being that he's being chased by motorcycles instead of dogs and kids, but to each his own. I like that in the second trailer, which was particularly humorous in my opinion. They have the chicken training, as I'd call it. Rocky Balboa lets a few chickens loose in a yard and tells Adonis Johnson he has to catch one. In the trailer, immediately picks one up, and Balboa says, "Wow, the chickens are getting slower," which I find funny, and at the same time, I think it speaks to, the changing of the time, the fact that he's getting older, But overall, second trailer was really good. Like I said, it gave you a little bit more of an emotional connection to the movie, rather than just an underdog fighting his way up. It gave you that fact that that Rocky's in it, that they're going to be training, they're going to be developing that training bond like Rocky and Mick had. Just overall, two stunning trailers. They left me with a ton of questions that I really want to, get to know more about Adonis Johnson. See more clearly how he's connected with Apollo Creed. Makes me want to know if Rocky's going to make it to the end of the movie. It's a worry. You always have that mentor ducking out in series. Whether they pass or whether they move on. Either way, though, it's a question I want answered, which I believe is very important in trailers. Leaving you wanting more, and I definitely want more. I will be sure to be watching for more trailers. I'll be sure to be watching. I believe this is set to release in November of this year. So, yeah, definitely see those trailers, man. See them. They are good trailers. They really give you a vibe for what the movie's going to be, and I'm really, really stoked to see it. So, all I can do is recommend it. It's up to y'all. But remember to like and subscribe us here on the William Baxter Experience. I'd like to thank my friend Billy Baxter for allowing me to do this review, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.